Hello and welcome to the Stitching Over the Days podcast. This is episode 22. My name is Constance and I bring you greetings from Columbia, South Carolina. I want to first off, before I tell you where you can find me, thank any new viewers and also any returning viewers. I think it's amazing and I'm just so humbled that you would take a moment out of your day to hear all about my knitting, sewing, and crochet adventures. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Cleo, CLEOCMC, and I also have a Ravelry group, Stitching Over the Days, where we have quite a bit of fun. So today I'm hoping it will not be too long of an episode because even though I have some things to talk about and to share with you, I really want to complete a cardigan that I'm really excited about, and podcasting of course takes away from my time spent with crafting, so I'm going to try to not ramble as long or as much during this podcast, but I still want to make sure I cover everything. So it'll follow the typical layout. I'm going to begin with the finished projects, and then we'll move into the works in progress. And finally, not finally, but then the archive treasure. And I also want to talk briefly about what's been catching my interest and some of my future craft plans. And also Me Made May. Yes, it's right around the corner. So let's get started. I actually finished my Aster top. This is a design by Marie Wallen. I was looking at my Ravelry project page, and you know, Ravelry now, I think they recently started, maybe about a year ago, or maybe less than that. They have this thing on your project page where you could state when you want to finish the project by. So I saw that I wanted to finish my Aster top at April 9th, and I noticed that the date when I was checking this project page was April 12th. And I was like, you know what, what's the holdup? I'm going to finish this top. So that's what I did, and I made it a goal to finish it. And the Aster top is a design by Marie Wallen from her Filigree Collection 3 book. And the entire collection uses Rowan Summerlight 4-ply. And I was trying to find a better image. The Aster top is pictured on the cover. And here's another image. It's a very beautiful lacy crochet top. I really enjoyed this collection because of the, first of all, the crochet designs are so beautiful, but I love the color palette she chose for the entire collection. My mom, I'm probably influenced by my mom, but she loves lacy crochet and in those natural colors like cream and white. And so I also went for a natural color with my Aster top, and I went with the Rowan Summerlight seashell color, which is so beautiful. And I finished it. It is so detailed, so beautiful. And I will say it took time. I thought that I would be able to whip it up really, really quickly. And because crochet designs usually just fly off the hook for me. But this took a bit of time. I was talking about in the previous episode how you had to work into the actual chains, and that was a bit that took a bit more time. But then also it's worked in pieces, and then you have to seam the pieces together. And I don't mean of course you work the front and back, but then this beautiful lacy bottom, that's worked separately. And also the lace cuffs, that's worked separately. So you have to attach all of those pieces, and it's intricate, but it's not difficult and it's not hard. You just need to take your time, and that's exactly what I did. I took my time and I completed the garment, and I absolutely love it. I've worn it twice already, if I'm not mistaken. I wore it on Easter Sunday, and I thought it was just a perfect garment for the occasion because we went to church with my family, but then we were on the family grounds, and it was a really sunny, beautiful day, and this top was just, because of the open lace work, the breeze would just, you know, wisp through the top. It was just so amazing, and I just like it's like flowy. It has a slight flow to it. It's not like overwhelmingly flowy, but it has a nice drape, that's what I'm trying to say, to the garment, and I like it so much. I made no modifications. I do remember going down 2 needle sizes, if I'm not mistaken. It suggests a 2.5 millimeter, but I went with a, I can't remember exactly, but it's on my Ravelry page. And also, I did that because I was finding it was a bit too wide, and so I wanted it to come in a bit closer, and it worked out really nicely. I'm really, really happy with the fit of it. Um, Anything else? Oh, I did not wet block it like I would a wool garment. They had instructions for how to steam press the garment, and I actually did that. And I just like steam pressing. It's something so satisfying about steam pressing this cotton because it just gives it this super neat, perfectly shaped garment, and I just absolutely love that. And I actually, once I was complete with this garment, I was ready to revisit because I think I previously mentioned that I have plans to make 3 garments definitely out of this collection. And I didn't feel like revisiting the Aster top because I really am just trying not to repeat patterns like I used to do in the past, which was, that's really fun, but then it's so many patterns out there, and so why not try to just always try something new? Well, my mother saw the top and she just absolutely loved it, and she just was like she had to have one. So I am going to suck it up and create it again. And of course, I was saying we both like those natural colors for lacy crochet garments, and so she chose a white. And so I have all of the yarn, and she wants me to make hers a bit longer, so I am going to make hers longer. And so because I used 5 skeins, and I actually had quite a bit left from my, look, this is how much I had left, almost a full skein from when I created my top. But since I'm making hers longer, I went ahead and purchased 6 skeins of the Rowan Summer Light in their white color. And I'm actually planning to finish hers. Her birthday is July 26th, and I think that'll be a really nice birthday gift. But that is it for this garment. If you have the patience, and it doesn't take like extreme patience, I don't mean like it's going to take all of your time, but I think that taking your time gives you a neat finish, and it'll make sure that you do the lace pattern correctly. Then I think that you'll quite enjoy this garment if anyone's interested in it. I did notice that I had a mistake on my sleeve. I put it near the back, but I missed a chain 2 space. I was actually debating ripping it back completely, that sleeve, and yeah, here it is. I don't even know if you will be able to notice, but it's missing a chain 2 space in this area. But a lot of people on Instagram chimed in when I talked about possibly ripping back that sleeve, and they were just like, let it go, and it was no biggie. And so I slept on it, and I thought about it. I was like, you know what, whatever. And so I even shared it in the knitting circle, and they were like, so what, they were like, that's what makes it yours, it makes it unique. And I was like, yes. So I know my Aster top is unique because it's missing a chain 2 space. Okay, I did take pictures of myself in the top, and it feels like I made this top so long ago, maybe because I've worn it not a lot, but a bit. So I do believe I made some video footage wearing the top, giving you a twirl so you can see how the fit is. Oh, and I will say that when I wear this top, I've been wearing a cami top. Someone asked about the undergarments for these lacy crochet tops, and I usually prefer cami tops. They also work quite well over sleeveless dresses, but I haven't worn it in that way yet. And so the cami top that I found for this color, it was just a happy surprise. I was shopping in the mall with my nieces, and I usually go with them. I never buy myself anything. I usually just buy them things because they're teenagers and they're picky about what they want, and so they prefer the mall instead of handmade. And so I was in one of those teen stores, and I happened upon this natural colored cami top, and I thought it would look nice, very nice under this top, and I was correct. So I think it was about $5, and so you can find those simple cami tops almost anywhere. I think Walmart has them. Just the basic cami usually works quite well under lacy crochet tops. Well, that is all I have to say about it. And as I was saying, I did have some footage, and I'll insert that here. Okay, so that is it for the Aster top. I absolutely love it. I loved it so much, I was like, I immediately cast on for another design in this book, which we'll talk about in the works in progress. Yeah, so I have another finished object, and I finished my vanilla socks. Yay! Those colors, yay, those colors. They make me so happy. This is Knitpicks Felici in Stone Harbor. That's the color. The heel is made with Premier Sock Yarns. Soft white, I believe it's the color. It was some scrap yarn I had, and I really like it a lot. I actually ripped back the second sock because I wanted those stripes to match a bit more, and it went pretty well, but near the toe, as you can see, the sequence kind of stopped. But it's okay. I still really like the socks. I finally think I have my perfect vanilla sock recipe. I wrote all of the notes on my Ravelry project page, so when I create vanilla socks in the future, I'm just gonna refer to that. And I haven't worn the socks yet. The Cozy Cottage Crochet, she commented on Instagram, and I'm so happy about her feedback because I haven't worn the socks yet, and this is my first time working with Knitpicks Felici yarn, and she told me that she enjoys the yarn, but she does find that the socks will grow a bit, and that's why I'm happy I cast on my, was it 56 stitches? I think that's the number I usually go with, and because that has more of a bit of a negative ease, and then she said it does peel over time, and that's fine. But with the completion of these socks, I now have 7 pairs of hand-knit socks. Yay! One for every day of the week. I've been trying to get to that point for a long time. But as you all know, I am usually seduced by those garments, and it's really hard for me to make accessories. So I'm happy that I finally buckled down and I made these socks. I'm going to try, even though I really like making socks and I love hand-knit socks, I don't make them that often. So my plan for the future is to always have a pair of socks on my needles, even if I'm not working on them actively. So I do have a new pair of socks on the needles. Haven't worked on them much, as you will see in the works in progress, but I think that just having it is good. And most of the time I carry the socks around in my book bag or traveling, and so yeah, those are my vanilla socks. So happy with these, and I'm looking forward to wearing them one day. And I think that's about it for it. They're just your basic pair of socks. It was just a really relaxing project. I think I knocked them out, of course, while watching British mysteries. That's what I do. And so I think I've started rewatching Vera, and I was watching Vera again, even though I've seen those episodes so many times. That's one of my favorite shows. And so I worked it up and I finished it, and I'm happy with them. I think I named those socks Home because I cast them on when I was going home, and I worked on them a lot when I was at home. So those are my home socks. Okay, let's talk about works in progress. I'm very excited, as always, about my works in progress. I'll start with the first work in progress, which is holding all of my attention right now. I'm even thinking about it as I'm podcasting, thinking, oh, I'm so close to the finish line, and I want to finish it very, very soon. And I'm realizing that I left a part of the project over there, but it's okay. So, Nadia Lewis, I started following her on Instagram not too long ago. Well, it's been a minute. I've been following her for a while. I happened upon her page because you know how Instagram has those recommendations for images you may like. And I saw this lady, she was wearing the most beautiful mustard cardigan, and it was fitted, it had cables, and I thought it was just really amazing. I thought it was a vintage cardigan, and because she usually wears vintage clothes. But then I read the caption and I realized that a designer actually made that design for her. So I went to the designer's page, and it was Nadia's page, and I saw that she was in the process of writing up the pattern, and I was like, yay. So she took her time, and I think she wrote it for about maybe a year. And so I was just waiting and waiting. I mean, I'm not going to rush the process because design work takes time. And I was like, there's plenty of things to make and knit in the meantime. So surprisingly, the design was ready about a week ago. And I was like, oh my goodness, the day is here, the day is here. And so I was like, what am I going to do? And so I immediately went to Ravelry, I purchased a pattern, and I immediately cast on, was it? No, I did not immediately cast on. I first said, focus, finish those socks. So I finished those socks. I have this thing where I like to get something off the needles or hooks before I just cast on any project. And so I felt that if I got the socks off the needles, that was me knocking something out of the way. So I finished the socks, and I started my Polina cardigan. I did my gauge swatch. How did I go? I did my gauge swatch that night, and then I also cast on. This is a seamed garment, and as you all know, most of my cardigans and garments are seamless, and maybe that's my, I don't want to say it's my preferred method, but that's what I usually do. And I really like the benefits of seamless garments. You could try them on as you go, and also you don't have to worry about seaming it in the end. But I'm finding that I'm not really that opposed to seaming as much as I thought I was. It's just not that big of a deal. I remember when it comes to sewing, I think you all remember, if you've been with me a while, that I used to just really hate hand stitching and basting and things that require, because with the sewing pattern, everything is not by machine. But then I found that it was actually very relaxing to hand stitch, to pop in a movie or an audio book and just get to work. And I found it to be a very enjoyable process. And so I'm coming to think of seaming, which is also hand sewing, in that way. And so I'm not opposed to garments that are seamed at all. And I also, Andrea of Fruity Knitting, she made the point that she likes seamed pieces because you could carry it with you, just that one piece, maybe the left front or maybe the sleeve, and it's not like you're required to carry around really the entire cardigan or the entire sweater. And I found that to be so true. It's very portable, and then also when you think about it in that way, it's kind of like carrying around, like she said, a sock. And I was like, yeah, you're carrying around a sock, but you're just working on a piece, and it works up super quickly. And so I am really starting to like seamed garments. Okay, I'm off my diatribe. So, the Polina cardigan. Let's see, I have a picture. This is a design by Nadia Lewis. It's made with worsted yarn, and I'm not sure if that's the best image, but that gives you an idea of how it looks. And that's the Instagrammer's page. She's a style blogger, if I'm not mistaken. Wears a lot of beautiful vintage pieces. I don't know her name. I think her name is Polina, actually. I think the cardigan is named after her, if I'm not mistaken. And so I started the project, and I thought I put the deadline for completing this cardigan as May 31st. Well, I took the cardigan with me back home, and I started working it up. And oh my goodness, it was literally flying off the needles. I was like so surprised that I completed most of the back when I was at home. Then I came back to Columbia, South Carolina, and I finished the back shaping. And mind you, this is a cabled and lace garment, but the cable pattern is very simple. And I also cable without a cable needle. And I finished the back. Look at those lines. I finished the right front. I finished the left front. I finished the sleeve. Yes, I finished the majority of this cardigan. This is my sleeve. The pattern calls for 3/4 length sleeves. The pattern is amazing in that it has a lot of sleeve options. You have a puff sleeve option, 3/4 length sleeve option, slight bishop sleeve option, and a full bishop sleeve option. Yes, that many. But despite those many options, I still kind of made some modifications, and the notes are on my Instagram page. And I went for a full length fitted sleeve because I find full length sleeves to be more practical for my body in terms of the comfort of my body and also my wardrobe, and I just find them to be warmer. I like the look of 3/4 length sleeves, but I find that I don't like the air on that little part of my arm. Yes, so I finished the sleeve and I'm actually working on the other sleeve. It's over there as I've stated, but it's about that much done. I don't feel like getting up to get it. So I've just pinned the garment together right now with sewing pins because I wanted to try it on to see how it would fit. Someone commented on Instagram that it was so tiny. Oh, but I was like, trust me, this is seed stitch. Seed stitch has, do you see that? Oh, that stretches like. And Nadia suggests 4 inches of negative ease. And she gives you 2 options for gauge. I went with the recommended gauge, not the modified gauge. And so when I tried it on, she describes this garment as a tailored garment. And yes, it was just tailored. The fit was perfection. And this is with me. One of the pins fell out. But this is with me just trying it on with the pins in the garment. And so I'm really, really just excited and ready to complete my sleeve and put on the neck edging and the button bands. And as you can see, I've just been getting it done. And I think that this is one of the fastest cardigans that I've ever made up. It just literally flies off of the needles. And I've been working on this just in the evenings when I've been watching TV. And it's just been, just going by so quickly. Like even yesterday, I went yesterday was local yarn store day. And so I went to that event and then I went downtown and did some shopping. I got back home around 4 or 5. So that was around the time that I started the sleeve. And at that point I had about this much done. And then last night I just completed all of the sleeve. And I think the seed stitch is just that repetitive motion. It's just so calming. It just makes it just flow. And I really don't even need to look down at it. I could just look at TV and just move the yarn back and forth, and then it just goes really quickly. And so I'm really, really ready to finish my other sleeve. And so hopefully editing this video will not take too much time away from my knitting tonight, and I could complete that sleeve. And then I want to complete the button bands, the neck edging, and I'm hoping that no later than Tuesday I will have a completed Polina cardigan. Yay! So that is it. I just think it's absolutely lovely. Oh, and the yarn is Cascade 220, just the regular 220, and the color is peony pink, and I think it's just the most perfect shade of pink. And because I wanted to cast this on immediately, I had this yarn in my stash, and I originally thought I was going to make a Andy Satterlin Tessellate pullover sweater, but then when I saw this pattern, I was like, you know what, this pattern is just screaming for me to make it in pink, and so that's what I did. Even though I'm trying not to repeat patterns, I think maybe a year or 2 from now I will revisit the pattern, and I want to go for the full bishop sleeves. But I do not plan on immediately casting on a repeat version. As I've stated, I'm just going to wait it out and then I'll do the full bishop sleeves because I thought that it was just the most beautiful and elegant thing, but I don't want to just repeat the pattern immediately after finishing it. So that is it. Okay, I'm picking this book back up. And I started my anemone top. Marie Wallen is quickly becoming, even though I've only done one of her designs, she's fast becoming a favorite of mine. And I actually placed an order for 3 additional books of hers because I have plans to make more of her garments. And I also love that she uses rolling yarn, which is also quickly becoming a favorite yarn of mine. So I'm going with the exact color, that white color of the top, because again, crochet, natural colors, lace, it's just so vintage. It has that Victorian appeal, and I just love everything about it. This is my gauge swatch, simple stockinette. I had to go down, did I go down 2 needle sizes? Which I had to do also, I think with the Aster top. and I went down to hook sizes for this, and it worked out really nicely. I just love the feel of these swatches. I'm just imagining that cotton sweater against my skin. It's going to be really nice. As I've stated, I love the feel of the yarn with the Aster top. So I've been mainly working on this. I cast it on, but then Polina came along and I put it down. And so I've mainly been working on it in the stitching circles. And as you saw, the middle is just stockinette, the front and back. And so it's the perfect project for when you're socializing and talking. I completed the bottom ribbing, and I stopped because I need to change to larger needles, and I did not bring the needles with me to the Wednesday stitching circles, so I need to change out those needles and get started on that stockinette. But it's really nice. And I'm excited about it. I'm hoping that I will complete it, of course, before the end of the summer, even though I'm not trying to wait that long. Hopefully, because Polina is going by quickly, hopefully my anemone top will be completed by the end of May. And I think that's it. I don't have much to say about it. As you can see, I've done just a little bit of it, but it's just a really fun design. And again, I'm really enjoying the process, but I'm looking forward to completing it so I can cast on my next Marie Wallen design. I think I said previously this will probably be the year of Marie Wallen, and yes, I have plans for more of her designs. I think she's amazing and her designs are absolutely beautiful. Okay, I wanted to update you on the Battenberg blanket. I have been steadily making squares. I'm hoping to complete 100 squares each month. And I'm not there yet. I completed 70 squares so far, and I have not connected them yet. So as I was saying, we have 2 more days in April. So I have 2 days to complete the remaining squares and join them if I want to be on my personal schedule. This is what I have so far, which I've shared with you previously. Really nice. The yarn is loops and threads wool-like. And I'll show you just some of my squares, but as you can see, also I need to weave in the ends. So once I have the Polina cardigan off the I'm making a mess with my squares. I keep them in this little box, and so once I have the Polina cardigan complete, then those evenings I'm just gonna start finishing up the remaining squares and try to join them in so I could just make good progress on my blanket. So I just wanted to quickly update you on that. They're basic granny squares, and that's a design by Sandra Paul of the Cherry Heart podcast and blog. And I think it's a beautiful, just classic granny square blanket. It just screams home, and it just the thought of having that completed blanket, it just seems, it's like, I know it's going to be just so comforting having that, and so I'm really excited about it. And I have one more work in progress to share with you, because my other work in progress of the Jane Seymour, I have not made any progress on it. I'm behind schedule on my goal for that also. And so why talk about it if I haven't knitted on it much? I share with you the line socks are designed by Dawn Henderson, and that I wanted to cast these socks on, and I wanted to use Quince and Company's whoa, I forgot the name of this yarn. It's not Chickadee. Let's see. Quince and Company Finch, and the color is Lichen. And isn't that a fancy cuff? How beautiful is that? It did take time and a bit of paying attention to the chart, but now that that's out the way, I anticipate the socks flying off the needles. And as you saw, they are ankle socks. And so this is what I have so far. Not much. And I was saying I'm just carrying the socks around in my book bag, so I haven't been actively working on them, but I knew I wanted to complete that cuff because it's intricate, and I knew that that would take a bit of concentration. So that's how that is going, and that's my current pair of socks. So that is it for the works in progress. Oh, and going back to the Polina cardigan, I did have to go down a needle size to get gauged. So let's briefly talk about the archive treasure for today. This is my most worn cardigan, period. And it's definitely, is it my favorite? Probably. It's definitely a favorite, I'll say that, because of the vivid green color and the lace panels. And it is a design by Andy Satterlin, and it's called Agatha. And I wore it, I think I wore it on the first episode of this podcast, and I wore it to church today. I paired it with my Simplicity 1803 dress, which I wear this combination quite a bit. It just works, and I just always feel really great in this outfit, so that's probably why I always pair it together. The brooch, it's like a starburst of green, just a green starburst. This is a vintage brooch, and it was a gift from an amazing viewer, Leah, and I just am so grateful. I'm so humbled also that she thought of me, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I just will say that me and Leah connected, and we started talking quite a bit, and it's amazing how through the internet you can meet amazing people that you never would have met before. Yes, the internet has its cons, but it's a lot of benefits to it, and so I just thought that was amazing, and I just think it's right up my alley, and it's beautiful, and so I'm looking forward to just always talking with Leah in the future, and hopefully one day we will meet. And Leah, if you are watching this, thank you so much. I absolutely love it. So I wanted to briefly talk about what's been catching my interest and my future plans. Yesterday was National Local Yarn Store Day, and of course my local yarn store had an event. I went there. I was saying I'm just going to get an extra skein for my mom's crochet top that I'm making. I needed a skein of Rowan, and the Rowan Summerlight, and I'm going to get the a skein from the local dyer, Skein Deep Yarns, because I thought that would be good for a local yarn store day. Well, I went in there, and it was just like Rowan galore. They had the Rowan denim, the Rowan soft yak, the Rowan city tweed, and of course the Summerlight, all of the Rowan books, and I was just like, so my plans of getting only 2 skeins went down the drain, and so I purchased mainly Rowan things, and so I wanted to share with you. I'm looking for my books. I think I might have to pause them because I've been enjoying the books so much that I just went to bed reading them, fell asleep reading them, thinking about all of the things I want to create. And so I will pause, and then I'm going to share with you my plans for Rowan. Oh, okay, I'm not going to pause. It's right here. I knew I brought it over here. So Marie Wallen, of course, I'm not sure if she's still with Rowan, but she uses a lot of Rowan yarn with her designs. And so I have plans to make a pullover. This is her winter crochet issue. And I plan to make this beautiful top. It's a blend of crochet and knit. And she actually said this was one of her favorite designs from the book. It's one of my favorites also. Originally, I was going to go with that blue duck egg color, but when I saw it in person, it wasn't as, I don't want to say it wasn't ugly. It just wasn't as blue as pictured. Maybe they adjusted the lighting. It just didn't look as pretty as I thought it would, and I just didn't want to make it in that duck egg blue anymore. And of course, the city tweed comes in an array of beautiful colors. And so I started asking for the opinions from some of my friends at the knit shop, but then other people heard me asking for opinions and then they chimed in. And I was first considering this like deep pink color for it because Lakita and Liz, the owner, said they preferred that. So I was going to get it. But as I was about to put it back, then Karen said, oh, get that green. And I was like, yes, you know me in green. And so I then was headed to the back, and another person said, oh, get that green. Then another lady heard me talking to someone. She's like, I'm just going to have to say, I know you didn't ask my opinion, but you need to get that green. And you know how much I love green, and I needed no further encouragement to get this green. And so that pink went back on the shelf, and I chose a Vaseline green. That's the actual name of the color, and I am going to have to pause and get the yarn because I did leave it in the other part of the apartment. So I'll be right back. So I think that my favorite color is green because you never find just one type of green. They come in the most beautiful range of shades and hues, and I love that. And this green, I think, like, I didn't even feel bad about getting another green because it's so unique. It's like a mint green, right? It's so beautiful. But it's called Vaseline green. And when I was sharing it on my Insta stories, my friend Saraya, we talk quite a bit on Instagram. She's like, weird name. And I was like, why is it called Vaseline green? Because I know they're not talking about petroleum jelly, which is what I think of with Vaseline, because that's kind of like this, it's no color to petroleum jelly. So I went to the good Oracle Google. And I was like, what is Vaseline green? So it is Vaseline glass, and they had an image. Do you see that color? Hey, you see? It's very similar to my yarn. Is a term for transparent yellow to yellow-green glass that owes its color to its uranium content. So obviously, that is why it's called Vaseline green. So if you're watching this, Araya, yeah, not the petroleum jelly. And so of course, I love all types of greens, but Vaseline green is now one of my favorite colors. So that's my plans for the fall, my fall garment. And that's what I purchased. I purchased 7 skeins of that yesterday. And I also purchased, I'm not going to do a flip through because I purchased quite a bit, but I wanted to share briefly some of the Rowan books and issues I've purchased. I've been trying to not purchase books as much because I love books, and books, they're really hard when you're having to move, and then they can take up a lot of space, but I think these are worth it, and I've been wanting them, so I purchased the Rowan Summer Light. Yes, this is Summer Light Horizons. This is Lily Kate France. She's a model, but she's also a knitter. She actually had a design published in Vogue magazine at the age of 14, and it was no simple design. It was an intricate pair of cabled mitts, and I was saying this on my stories yesterday, and so I've been following her since she was very young when her mom ran the blog, and so I was excited that a knitter was the model for this issue, and so I'm happy I have that, but the designs are beautiful. I have plans to make the Archer top, which is a crochet design in this issue, and I have purchased the yarn for that, and I'm going to go for a softer palette. I don't want that contrast to be as strong as pictured, even though I quite like it. And let me share with you the color palette. So these are the colors, and the natural color will be washed linen, which I just think is so pretty. So I have plans for that. And I also purchased the Rowan magazine number 63. You guys, I've been wanting Kim Hargraves forever, and now I finally have access to it. Andrea of Fruity Knitting made the Hearten cardigan from this issue, and now that I finally own it, I will finally have my own Hearten cardigan. And I said I wasn't going to do a flip through, but I have to show you this design because it's so beautiful. And I still don't know what color I want, but I want something to show off those beautiful cables. So I got that. This book is so lovely. This is by Martin Story, and it's 12 designs using that summer light. And finally, I got the magazine number 65. So those were my purchases from local yarn store day yesterday. It was really a fun event. Oh, and I did purchase a skein of yarn dye exclusively for the event, and this is a dyer from Columbia, South Carolina, and it's called Skein Deep Yarn. And look at that color. It's pure, just beautiful. It's just perfect. I love it. And the colorway is called Reef. I'm thinking about a pair of socks, most likely, but we'll see. So that is it. And finally, I wanted to end with talking about Me Made May. In the past, when I participated in Me Made May, I was beginning to sew, and of course it was a great challenge for helping me to identify wardrobe gaps and to focus on filling my wardrobe with handmade things. But now my wardrobe is completely handmade. So I was like, what if I participate, what am I trying to do? And so I thought about it, and I talked with my sister, and I was like, you know what? I know that there are still gaps in my wardrobes for things that even now going into May, I wanted to have a pair of jeans, and I still haven't made my jeans yet. And so I already know that's going to be a gap. Another thing is, I think last year I said I wanted to make more solid colored dresses, because I just find that they work really well when I have to do presentations, go to job interviews, and I still don't have that many solid colored dresses. I mainly have solid colored knit dresses, but not the actual kind that I really love to wear that fit and flare. And so those are already two gaps that I've identified. But then I was thinking, last year I actually weeded out quite a few things that I either didn't wear, or I didn't flock to, or that I just didn't enjoy wearing when I did, and I got rid of those garments. And so I was thinking that may happen again this year. And so I'm going to evaluate what things I wear. And even if I choose to wear it, because with Me Made May, you usually reach into your closet for those pieces that you kind of forgot about. And if I find that when I wear it, I don't feel, it doesn't spark joy, we'll say, then I'm going to let go of that garment. And so my sister had a good suggestion. She said, what you can do is that for those things that you don't like, maybe you could give it away for free if someone is willing to pay for the shipping. And so that's what I think I'm going to do at the end of Me Made May. And so I'll just maybe put up some postings about things that I'm going to get rid of, and I'll be willing to give it away for free. But I just hope that if anybody wants the garments, just remember they are handmade. Some of them were made in my early days of sewing, so they're not professional garments. And some of them are even before I had my sergers, so they usually have pink seams. But I still, I wear my early garments, a lot of my early garments still, and I still enjoy wearing them. So maybe someone else will get joy out of those. And so that's my goal. Of course, I will not be including cold weather garments in that weeding out process. For example, my pullover sweaters and my heavy corduroy dresses, because I'm not going to reach for those because it's just too hot. We're in South Carolina, and so I don't anticipate reaching for those. And so I think what I'm going to do is in the month of September and also the colder months, I'm going to also do the same process and start evaluating those things that I just don't wear, that are just sitting up in my closet and collecting dust. And yeah, but I do know that there is this one top I don't plan on wearing anymore, and I was thinking about giving it away, but my mom, she was like, no, I want that, so and so I'll be giving that to my mom. And also another cardigan that I've done, and another vest. Okay, see, I'm already thinking about things that are going to be donated. So I think that that is my goal, or I know that is my goal for me. May it's just to identify those things in my closet that I'm just not using, and I hope to send it to a new home. So that concludes this episode. I am really excited about what I've done and what I'm going to do in my craft life, and so I hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.